off on YouTube and let's get going. Give me 1 second here. Okay. So, hey, guys, if you're tuning in right now and you want to learn about eXp Realty, you're in the right place. I'm David Harbour, and I am your host for the next 35 minutes. And let's just say that eXp is literally changing the game in real estate. And I know that that's a very overused statement, but it really, really is in every facet. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to tell you about our business model, where we are, how we're expanding, what our compensation is, what tools you get, training, and then your offices. And then we're going to talk a little bit about how this will help you with your retirement, which is the biggest thing that I think most agents don't even think about. They're just transaction to transaction. And so let's get started. Like I said, if you have any questions, go ahead and put it in the chat and I'll answer them as we're going along. So who am I? My name is David Harbour. I was the very first agent in the Washington, D.C. area. I actually started 10 years ago. My real estate background, and I'm going to do a screen share here for you guys, is a little bit about who I am. You see that okay, Dom? Great. So I live just outside of Washington, D.C. My background is I went to school at the University of Illinois. I played in the NFL for a while with the Washington Redskins in NFL Europe. My last stop was with the Steelers. And then I was lucky enough to go work in the NBA and NHL. Worked for the Washington Wizards and Capitals for 5 years, went to the Stanley Cup Finals. And then it was just about that time that I almost moved down to Orlando to head up the Orlando Magic. And something happened where I said, I never want to have a boss again for the rest of my life. And I got into real estate. And that was 23 years ago. Started out at Weichert. For those who are on the East Coast, that was kind of a regional company. Realized they took too much of my money. And then I went to Remax. And I was there for 12 wonderful years. I loved it. Got engaged when I was at a Remax convention to my wife. At that time, I had 5 agents on my team, and I was actually a featured agent on a show called Get It Sold with Sabrina Soto on HGTV. So life was good. I wasn't looking over the fence. I was at 100%, which I don't even think they do anymore. And it was just about that time that a friend of mine who I'd met at one of the Remax conventions, Tom Somerville, give you a big shout out. He'd been in the business a long time. He said, Dave, I'm leaving Remax. I'm going with this company you probably never heard of, but I think they're the next thing in real estate. And first of all, it shocked me because he was a broker. He was getting rid of his brokerage. He's in the North Carolina Hall of Fame for real estate. So the guy's been around. And I said, listen, Tom, I'm really happy where I am, but I'll listen. And so what happened was he said these questions to me, and I'll say the same thing to you guys. You're at Remax, which is a franchise, right? Do you have any ownership in that company? And I said, no. He said, do you share in the revenues of that company? I was like, no, I just do transactions. He said, right. He said, so what does your exit strategy look like with that company? When you're done with that company, do you get anything? Is there any exit retirement plan? And it's so funny because, we as real estate, our business professionals would think this should be part of our, planning. And 99% of most agents don't think like that. They're thinking transaction to transaction, 6 months at a time, working on their business year to year. Instead of something like Robert Kiyosaki's cash flow quadrant, where you have kind of residual income, where you're building up a nest egg for your retirement. And so it was at that time that it kind of made me start thinking about this company. And I thought about it long and hard, and I vetted it, and I said, gosh, nobody's ever heard of it, but I really, really like their business model. And it was at that time that I left. I left Remax, and everybody looked at me. I was on the board of directors at the time for my local association, and they probably thought, boy, you just really buried your career. Well, fast forward, I think I was probably the seventh or eighth state, maybe somewhere around there. We're now in all 50 states. We're in 14 countries. We're the fastest growing real estate brokerage that's ever existed, and we're tapping 55,000 agents. Not only that, but I've earned stock in the company, and I have residual income on top of my sales. I have a check that comes in every month, whether I sell something or not. I didn't have that at Remax. And I'll guarantee most of you, wherever you're coming from, don't have that. You don't have any ownership because you're with a franchise or you're with a privately owned boutique brokerage. And if you go in and ask your broker today, hey, will you share in the revenues with me? He's going to say, get out of here. No way. Go back to selling. That's how this company, in a nutshell, we'll get into the details, is drastically different. Glenn Sanford, every time I see him, I want to give him a hug. He's changed the game for real estate, where he's turned the model upside down, and now agents have the ability to earn revenue, residual revenue, and stock in the company. Let me kind of give you a little bit of a background of what's going on. You're probably seeing this. 80,000 US brick and mortar stores are closing by 2026. It's happening. You go to the malls, you go to a lot of stores, brick and mortar businesses are going out of uh, the business model. Why? Because we're shopping online. We're used to technology. Well, guess what? The same thing is happening in the real estate industry. According to NAR, most top producing agents don't go into the office. They use their laptop, or they're transactional using technology. That's what's changing the game. Here's a couple of things that were interesting. Amazon. We were compared to Amazon almost 9 years ago by Stefan Swanepoel from Real Trends. Everybody laughed about, oh, you're going to sell books and things online. Well, look at all these businesses that have closed, and Amazon is thriving. Same thing with Netflix. Remember, everybody used to go to Blockbuster, get their videos after ordering some pizza. And the irony is that Netflix approached Blockbuster and said, hey, you want to buy us for 50 million? And they said, no, we're Blockbuster. We're on every corner. Everybody knows us. The last Blockbuster just shut down in Oregon this past year. Netflix is a multi-billion-dollar industry. That's the same thing that's happening with real estate. It's the exact same thing. And don't get me wrong, what I'm going to be talking about here has nothing to do with agents. There's great agents in all these companies, great agents. What we're talking about is the business model that most agents don't consider. Here's a little history lesson. Century 21, they revolutionized franchising. And at the time, everybody had a yellow jacket, and they were premier, and they were number one. Then Dave Liniger came along with Remax and said, listen, we're going to now give you 100% of your commission, but you're going to have to pay us a monthly fee. Agents were flocking there. They became number one. And then Gary Keller did something very out of the box. He said, we're going to train our agents to be professional, and we're going to share in the profits with them. And we're going to really emphasize training and education. And he did a fantastic job and wrote a great book. And they've become the number one company. Well, I would say probably over the last 6 or 7 years, people are realizing I don't need that big overhead cap. And the profit share that they're distributing, not so profitable. We have somebody on here who actually came from a KW office. They could probably speak more in detail about that. But eXp was developed by Glenn Sanford, who came from Keller Williams. And he said, what are the two biggest overhead expenses? And it's brick and mortar, and it's a franchise fee. That's right here. Brick and mortar and franchising. That's passed on to the broker or franchise owner, and it's passed on to the agents. Well, eXp has done something outside of the box. They've gone away from that. There's no franchise. We're a publicly traded company, and we don't have brick and mortar offices in the sense that we don't own them. Although we have lots of brick and mortar, and I'll share with you what that is. We utilize Regus offices around the world. This is a great diagram right here, but it shows what's the difference of all the brokerages on the left-hand side and many more as opposed to eXp. All the ones on the left-hand side are either owned by somebody and or they're a franchise and they're brick and mortar. eXp is neither of those, which is now that we've gotten away from those two big overhead expenses, that's where this unique compensation comes into play. A compensation that actually is unlike any other. What I mean by that is we sell here at eXp just like other brokerages. But the big difference is that when I have my first sale, my company gives me stock. When I cap, or I'm somebody like Dom who becomes an icon agent, the company actually rewards you your cap in stock, and it grows. And if you become an icon or cap every year, you get stock every year for free. You don't pay for it. And if you bring somebody into the company and they sell something, you get more stock. And if you feel like investing in the company, which the history of this stock is, it started out at 17 cents. It's now upwards of $38. Not a bad idea. You can actually invest in your own company by purchasing at a discount, taking a small percentage of your commission. And then on top of that, you can actually introduce people to the company anywhere that eXp is licensed, and you get a percentage of their gross commission for life, as long as you maintain your license every month when they sell something. And the difference between profit share and revenue share, you probably heard that with other brokerages, is huge. Profit share, somebody has the ability to get in the way of what that commission is or what that amount of money is by having an advisory council, and whether we buy couches and do other things with it. At eXp, it's straightforward. If I bring somebody on and they sell something, I get a percentage of their gross commission, period, end of story, every month. And even into retirement, as long as you maintain your license. And the other big thing is I have two young boys, Lucas and Max. God forbid I got hit by a bus, I could actually pass it on to my heirs. That was huge to me, absolutely huge. Now, a couple more things that I want to share with you about how this company is different is you might say, well, how come nobody else is replicating this? Or, somebody else might be able to do it very easily. Yes and no. Is everybody familiar with Kodak? Remember when you were younger, you used to take your Kodak film and get it developed at the Kodak store, and then you come back and pick it up and look at your pictures from Cancun or whatever. Did you know Kodak actually went out of business? And you know how they went out of business? From digital technology, new technology. But here's the kicker. Do you know who developed digital technology? Kodak. Now you say, well, how come they went out of business if they developed it? Their business model was developing film. Their business model was kiosks. Their business model was brick and mortar locations. So they couldn't pivot. They couldn't change their business model. 99.9% of these other brokerages out there are franchises and brick and mortar. They cannot pivot and do what eXp is doing. We are so far out ahead of them. I'm sure that there will be other brokerages that come along eventually. But the simple fact is, after 10 years, eXp is the fastest growing real estate brokerage that's ever existed. And that's not puffery. That's an actual true fact. So, with saying that, I'm going to jump into a little bit of who we are and exactly how that works. Um, First of all, this is the man who started it all right here, Glenn Sanford. Honestly, every time I see him, I want to hug him because he's changed my family's life, and I've seen him change thousands of agents' lives with his business model. He has pledged to give 50% of the revenue to the agents. No other brokerage is doing that. So at the end of the day, if you introduce somebody to the company, you get a percentage of their gross commission and a portion of the revenue. That is insane. Glenn was a top producing agent with KW. He had a team that spanned multiple states, did probably 60 million in production, and he wanted to start his own company. And he said, first of all, most brokerages are set up for the owner or the franchise owner, but the agents are the ones that are out there building the brand. The agents are the ones out there that are hitting the streets. He goes, I want to turn this upside down, and I want the agents to have the ability to spread the word about their company and actually get compensated for it. You know, I don't know what brokerage you're with, but I was at Remax. And again, when I was there, I didn't know any better. Well, if I brought somebody into the company, honestly, I would get a Starbucks card or some ridiculous thing. Here, I introduce somebody to the company, I get paid thousands of dollars every year that person's in the business. And the other thing that we don't really mention here is that when I went into those other brokerages, nobody cared whether I did well or not. Here, it's very different. If you have somebody bring you into the company and they're your sponsor, they genuinely care whether you're doing business, whether you're getting listings. They want to help you with your personal development. It is a totally different model. This is a little bit of our history here, but Glenn founded the company in 2009. We actually were traded on OTC, which is over-the-counter exchange stocks. And then it was right around 2014 that Stefan Swanepoel noticed us and said, watch this company. They're like Amazon. They really have something that's totally different. And it was about that time that 2016, eXp's triples the agent count. In 2017, we're at 6,000 agents. 2018, we went to NASDAQ and we're in all 50 states. Fast forward to 2021, I mean, this has 50,000 agents. We're actually closing on 60,000 agents and in 14 countries. That's how fast this company is growing. I wouldn't be surprised if we were at 100,000 agents by the end of the year. Purely guessing. This is a great shot of how disruptors in the industry are. Netflix, Amazon, eXp is a disruptor like no other brokerage out there. This is basically how we are fundamentally different from typical brokerages. Most of these have costly overhead, they're locally confined, inconsistent with growth incentives, and they're limited in technology. At eXp Realty, that is, we're on the other end of the spectrum. I mean, literally, if you have a license with eXp Realty, you pay one cap. You could actually do real estate in all 50 states. You pay one cap. If I wanted to have a team, same thing. If I want to expand my agent downline or team or support, I can be in multiple countries. As a matter of fact, next month, I'm flying down to Panama to help try and recruit some brokerages down there. I would have never thought to do that in my past brokerage. There was no incentive. There was no financial incentive. Here, eXp is literally giving each of us agents a gift, and it's an unlimited gift. You can sell, you can expand and grow your business, and you can grow stock equity in the company that'll help you. So 5, 10 years down the road, when 99% of the agents, when they're done with their brokerage, they're done. There's nothing. At eXp, that is drastically different. It hit me like a ton of bricks when I left my previous brokerage. After 12 years there, I sat down with my broker, who I love dearly, and thought we were very good friends and had a tremendous amount of loyalty to the company. When I told him I've yet to hear from that broker, and I got absolutely nothing when I left. And that's when the light bulb went on, how different this company is. If I were to leave today, right now, still maintain my license, I would still get residual income. I would have earned hundreds of thousands of dollars in stock that the company gave me. Not paid for, just gave me. So I really, really challenge you to whoever sent you to this webinar, go and sit down with them. Whatever you've heard about the company, I'll guarantee you it's probably not accurate. Because there's a lot of people out there that are giving false information, or they're trying to shoot us down because they don't know any other way to do it. Because literally, if we compared apples to apples on education, compensation, collaboration, all these different things, this company would kick the teeth in on most brokerages and make people realize, what am I doing here? As far as production, this company is nationally ranked as one of the top producing companies. We're the largest independent brokerage in the United States, and it's growing each and every day. But this is the one that really, really kind of is a game changer, is the compensation model. Actually, I'm gonna hold you here. I'm gonna go into something a little bit different. I'm gonna show you exactly what we have as far as training modules. Okay. And so right here at eXp, the first thing is, I'll bet you maybe you have 1 or 2 classes with your brokerage a week. Fair enough. That's probably pretty good for a lot of real estate brokerages. eXp Realty offers, get this, just today, this was just Wednesday the 23rd, there were 30 live classes today. 30. These aren't necessarily these aren't recorded classes. These are live classes taught around the world from some of the country's top performing agents. We have working with foreign investors. We have getting buyers under contract fast, digital masterminding. We also have an incredible series called iConversations, which we have agents that are producing at a high level that are sharing their secrets. As I mentioned, I don't want to embarrass him here, but Dom's on here. He's a 3-time icon winner. That means he's exceeded capping and then production. In exchange for that, the company gives that person stock in the form of what their cap is. But in lieu of that, they have to actually do some training classes and share with what their knowledge is with the rest of us. I didn't have that at my previous brokerage. There are over 100 live classes each and every week at eXp. So that's the first thing, education. Offices. Most of you have an office to go to. Well, for the company that doesn't own any brick and mortar offices, it's much like Airbnb or Uber. We have thousands of offices. So according to NAR, most top producing agents don't even go into the office. That's fine. If you need an office, no problem. eXp gives a Regus office membership to each and every agent. So if I need to go in and use one of these fantastic offices, I can use it anytime, any place, anywhere. Matter of fact, I'm going to Panama. There's 3 of them there and I can use. And these offices are first rate. In the Washington metro area, if you're watching this, we have over 42 of them. So now I don't have just an office. I have 42 offices that I just pull up on my mobile phone and I can pop in, meet a client, drink some coffee, work, whatever I need to do. Very, very powerful. We mentioned that the business model was very different. We're not a franchise. We're not a privately owned company. We are a publicly owned company. That means the agents have ownership in the company. But here's the unique thing. We're not just a real estate company. We're also a technology company. And Glenn, who is our founder, recently purchased, excuse me, Success Magazine. So we're also a personal development company. If you don't know who Success Magazine is, I don't know if you guys can still see my picture here, but we have some of the top trainers that ever existed. That's Tony Robbins right there, which, by the way, he's doing one of our events next month down in Dallas, Texas. It's actually in August. So this publicly traded company is not just a real estate company. We're a tech company and a personal development company with Success Brand. The company that started out here just within the United States has now grown to 14 countries. 14 countries within the last 2 years. And we have probably a half a dozen more that are on the blocks getting ready to open up. We can open up countries faster than any other real estate brokerage in the world because of our infrastructure. We don't have to go in and buy buildings. We don't have to buy offices. What we do is we support our agents through a 3D virtual platform. This is where it gets funny. You say, what the heck's a 3D virtual platform? I said the same thing 10 years ago. This is our office, just kind of a snapshot of what it looks like. And I'll click here. We utilize an application called Virbela, which we own. And think of it like this. You're an avatar. I log in, as you can see right here, and I go to a campus. I go to office meeting spaces. I go to conventions. There could be 600 people in a room. There could be 10 people. There could be 2. It's the exact same thing that you do at an office, other than I can't shake their hand physically or spill coffee on them, but it saves me time and money. If I want to go to 3 classes that week, I can just log in and go to a class that's being broadcast live from California, Arizona, and Florida. I couldn't do that before. I didn't have that ability. And this application is being used by the federal government, a lot of colleges and universities across the country. The NBA used it. eXp has 55,000 agents that are using Virbela. This is probably one of the biggest game changers. If you haven't been into the virtual office, ask the person that sent you here, hey, can I get a free pass? Let me try it out. Let me go to one of these classes that you have and experience it for myself. I'll guarantee you, it will change your world on how you see things. And especially this past year where we've gone through this pandemic, where other brokerages were withering on the vine, closing up. They couldn't support their agents. eXp was actually thriving over this past year. I don't know how many agents we added, probably over 15,000 agents, if not more, because we have the ability to maintain that high level of education, collaboration, and support for our agents. Some of the other things that we have are, we have eXp Commercial, okay? And then one of the things that people ask about is, well, what about your rankings? Great question. If you actually look at the Real Trends report that just came out here recently, eXp's placement in the Real Trends 500 will blow your mind. Number 1 in top moving production, number 1 top independent in sales volume, number 1 mover in transactions, total volume, number 2, number 3 in closed transactions. eXp has quietly become a major powerhouse in inventory and real estate listings. I think, you've probably heard these names like Tarek El Moussa from Flipper Flop, or Than Merrill, who is one of the master flippers, or Grant Cardone. Well, you know what? All 3 of those guys are with eXp right now. Why would all those millionaires come to eXp? Because they can make even more money because of this unique business model. One of the things that you want to do is you want to look and find out where the trends are, where people are moving. You also want to find out where top agents are moving to. And if I could look at all the top producing agents across the country, I'll guarantee you we've got the top agents in almost every state that are coming on board here. And it doesn't matter whether you're a team, whether you're an individual agent, whether you're a brokerage. There's a unique business model here to help you build your business. I know I'm talking a lot here, so if anybody has any questions as we're going through this, I want to show you, excuse me, exactly how this unique business model works. So this is the revenue share part. And so what happens is, as an eXp agent, if I introduce somebody to the company, I get a percentage of their gross commission every year until they cap. Okay. Now, this is how it works. If I have somebody in, let me see here. If I have somebody that I've introduced personally, I can make up to $2,800 from that agent. If that person introduces somebody to the company, I have the ability to earn up to $3,200. It goes 7 levels deep. Okay. That is the highest residual income plan in the real estate industry, not even close. Okay. Now, somebody might say, well, wait a second. That sounds like, some type of multi-level. No, it isn't. It is actually, all it is we are sharing in the revenue of the company. I'm not out there selling lotions. I'm not out there pushing vitamins. We are real estate professionals, and it's no different than a real estate referral fee. And the fact is, the brokerage that you're with, the commission that you're making is rolling up to somebody who owns it or the franchise owner. Here, we're just sharing the revenue with the agents. And this is a real game changer. There are percentages that you get for each level, and you can have as many people you introduce to the company. This is the fun part about it. They're part of your team now. They're part of your family, and you genuinely care about their business. So when you introduce somebody, and this is just an example of what it could look like. Say I introduce 4 people to the company over the course of the year. I have hundreds. I am fortunate enough to be in the top 1% of the company. And there's people that have a lot more than me, and there are people that have 50 people or 5 people. It doesn't matter where your journey is. You don't have this at your current brokerage. But here, we'll just use this example. I introduced 4 people, and they're agents. They're not top producers. They're just, maybe they do 2, 3, 4 million a year. You have the ability to earn $2,800, which is an additional $11,200 that you would earn from those agents. Not bad. Well, here's the beauty of it is, if they introduce people to the company, you can make money on that 2nd, 3rd, 4th, all the way down to 7th level. And we have what are called exponential tiers. What that means is, for every 5 people I actually bring on board, I can open up a higher percentage. And I'll show you here. So if I bring on 4 people on my front line, and anybody brings on somebody in that underneath them, I get 0.2%. something, but not great. However, if I bring on 5 people on my front line and one of those agents brings somebody on, I now get zero point 0.2 plus 3.8%. I get 4%. That is huge. And really, Glenn set this up to incentivize us to help the people that are underneath us. So basically, if I introduce 5 people to the company and they introduce people, now I can make 3,200 on each level for that second tier. I can actually pull in an additional $30,000. I didn't have that at my Remax brokerage. As I said, I'm guaranteeing you don't have anything remotely close to that. And somebody says, well, yeah, eXp is just about agent recruiting. Well, guess what? Your brokerage is recruiting too. It's no different. Your broker's out there hitting the street trying to get agents to come on board. The problem is it doesn't help you or the agents out. Glenn has created this model to help the agents. Here's the kicker that's really a game changer as well is equity opportunities. The brokerage that you're currently with, I see a big thumbs up there. I'll guarantee you there's a lot of people that have paid for their kids' college education, purchased additional homes, and helped really create a nest egg for their retirement through the equity opportunities here. Again, if you're at your brokerage that's franchise owned or you're working for somebody else, you are literally working paycheck to paycheck and you're not building any equity. Here, you have the ability to earn stock. And this is nothing to sneeze at. I had somebody once tell me, "Oh, I'm really not interested in stock." And I don't mean to be blunt or rude, but that was just kind of an ignorant statement. Most people's wealth comes from a stock. And so if you have the opportunity to earn stock for free, well, now you're in the right place. This is where there's multiple ways to earn stock. First of all, you come on board, the first month you sell something or whenever you sell something, eXp will give you stock for free. When you cap, which is roughly about 2.8 million in production, give or take, the company will give you stock. And when you introduce somebody to the company and they sell something, you help them. You don't even have to help them. They just sell something, you get stock. That right there is, I mean, you don't realize how powerful that is. And that stock, I can't go on record here and say that it grows, but what I can do is show you what we've done. This is where the company started, 2015. If there's anybody on this call that got stock early, raise your hand. And so let's just go hypothetically that if you earned, I don't know, what is it, $2 a share, and you earned $1,000 in free stock. Well, where are we at today? That's 16 times what it was. That's pretty good. It's actually a lot more than that, but because our stock split right over here. But if you saw anybody's stock ticker, you'd say, wow, that's a pretty good company. Yeah. If you look at our market cap, we're, as of today, 5.5 billion as a market cap. Not to pick on any other company, but the one with the big balloon is half of that. So when you're taking a look at this model, realize stock equity and revenue sharing. If you're an agent that actually does some pretty good production, you now have the ability to move into what is called our icon agent status. You basically, that's where you cap, and then you do 20 transactions, and the company will say, you know what? The cap that we have for our compensation for being here, not for our compensation, but for our cap is 16,000. We're going to give that back to you in the form of stock. So it's basically, as of the day that you get that, you're at net zero. The company has given you money and you paid nothing to be with the brokerage. And as that stock grows, so does your nest egg. And then we have the last one. My wife worked for ExxonMobil and they had an ESOP program where they matched it. This is somewhat similar in the sense that you're enrolled to take 5% of your commission and you get to buy the stock at a 10% discount. So say if the stock's trading at $50, whatever, and now you get it at $45. You basically, from the day that you purchased it, have built-in equity. Pretty smooth. Here are the nuts and bolts of our company, and it's straightforward. There's no special deals because we're a publicly traded company. It's an 80-20 split. Everybody from day one. You all the way up until a 16 cap. Excuse me. Then after that, you immediately go to 100% for the remainder of the year. It's 1 year. It's an anniversary year. After the end of that year, you reset and you do the same thing over. Startup costs are $149. That's a startup fee. That's basically your first month and some, additional fees to get some cards and get in the system. It's $85 a month. That's it. $85 a month will get you some incredible tools. You only pay E&O and transaction fees when you sell something. You don't have to. So your monthly fee is $85. $25 broker review fee, $40 for your E&O insurance, which is capped at $500 or whatever your state is. The only thing that changes is when you cap, your transaction fee goes to $250. That's it. That's it. And I'm trying to find exactly, the breakdown here, the revenue share, GCI. Anyways, cascading. It's a model that literally. Oh, I didn't even share this as well. eXp is broken into healthcare as well. Every year that I've been with the company, they seem to exceed the expectations and what they did from the previous year. These are the partners that we have with eXp, and it's growing each and every day, both locally and nationally. But the one that really stands out is eXp has offered agents the ability to purchase their own health care. We have a healthcare partner. We have somebody that's there to answer all of your questions as you're going through, and you have any issues whatsoever in-house. So these are some of the write-ups here about eXp, from the Swanepoel to the Real Trends to Market Watch to Inman. But don't let somebody talk you out of the opportunity to learn more about this company. As I said, here we are, I'm already ran a little bit long here, but I'm going to turn my camera off here in a second. But if you have any questions about the company, get back to the person that sent you here. If you're here as a free agent and you're not sure who to talk to, you can talk to me. I'm at bestbrokerage.com, or one of our next events is expectopportunity.com. And if you are in the Northern Virginia area, we're going to have an event on July 15th in Northern Virginia where you can come out. We're going to have a day of training on lead generation, and you can meet some of the agents and find out why these agents are so crazy about this company. And it's not just because we have a cool logo or, our coffee's great. A lot of agents, they get, unfortunately, they're kind of like that frog in the real cold water, and you turn up the heat and they just stay there and they're not sure why they stay there. Oh, I like my broker. Oh, I like the office. I like the coffee. Listen, we're in this business to have fun and build a real business and make money. And eXp has given us a business model that is unlike any other. And I'll challenge you, go and check it out. Go and literally, let's do an apples to apples comparison. Meet the agents. Come to one of our training sessions. Go into our virtual office. Heck, if If you want to come to our convention, we have a convention every year in Vegas. There'll be thousands of agents there. Or we actually have something very unique. We have an eXp shareholders meeting that all the agents, because we're a publicly traded company, we can see exactly what the company's being spending their money on, who's getting what, and the direction of the company. You're not going to find that anywhere else. And so that's it. I'm gonna wrap up here today. If you have any other questions before I get off, shoot them over. But I would just say, first of all, thank you for listening and being open to it. But literally take that next step. Go and vet this company. I can't tell you, I've been here 10 years. I can't tell you how many people get mad at me because they didn't come when they first heard about the company. And it isn't until years later that they go, man, why didn't you tell me it was this good? Why didn't you tell me they were giving stock? I said, no, I did. You just didn't listen. So please, I beg you, listen and go and talk and literally have an open mind to what is going on, because it's the I get all teary-eyed because Glenn Sanford has given us the greatest gift. He's given us a business that we all have the ability to run with. And I don't have to have an investment. I don't have to have a lot of money. I don't have to have a lot of materials. It's literally given to us, and you can build it as big as you want. So I would say dream big, have an open mind, and go and talk to somebody. So that's it for tonight, guys. Hey, come to one of our events and check out what all the fuss is about. Okay? We'll talk to you soon.